What is up, guys? Del Boy here. So Tony Yoka predictably defeats Dave Allen. He won the fight by a 10th round stoppage, and I didn't think it was a great performance, but he got the job done. Now, where do we start with this one? Firstly, let's start with Tony Yoka. I've got to say, although Tony Yoka was a very good amateur, I'm yet to be convinced about him as a professional so far. He does have things going for him, like, for example, he is a very good athlete. His hand speed for a heavyweight is pretty quick, as are his feet. You know, he's got quick feet as well. He's just a quick guy in general, you know, he's in really good shape as well all the time. So yeah, I mean, Tony Yoka has things going for him. His technical ability is okay, he's got a nice jab, a nice right hand behind the jab. When he boxes long, you know, it can be quite effective. But defensively, I have a lot of doubts about Tony Yoka. Firstly, how he handles pressure from a come forward fighter. You know, in this fight, for example, so he was playing the outboxer. You know, he's keeping it long. He was popping the jab, timing Dave Allen with a right hand down the pipe, and he was consistently scoring. That was not the issue, but he still couldn't stop Dave Allen marauding forward, you know, with no defence and getting on the inside. And when Dave Allen got on the inside, yes, all he was doing was throwing arm punches, but he was finding the body very easily. Some overhands were getting through the target as well. You know, Dave Allen is not a good offensive fighter. He's just not. And the way he got to the inside was a bit worrying for me. You know, I didn't think Tony Yoka dealt with him on the inside very well at all. He didn't clinch well. He didn't neutralise Allen on the inside, and I felt his defence on the inside was pretty poor. Not only that, you know, Dave Allen to me is a guy, he doesn't exactly bring a high octane style, and you know, I felt Tony Yoka looked like he was gassing at times. I know he got the late stoppage, which is a good look, but you know, there's times in this fight where I felt Tony Yoka looked a little bit out of breath, a little bit winded. Not to the point where you think something could happen, but you know, if you're getting in that state fighting Dave Allen, who's not a good pressure fighter, what's going to happen when you fight a Jarrell Miller or an Adam Kalnacki, you know, guys like this? What's going to happen when you're being pressured by those guys? Because they bring pressure. They bring a high output. You know, they bring aggression. How's Tony Yoka going to deal with that if he's struggling with Dave Allen up close? You know, I've got big doubts on Tony Yoka. His inside game is non-existent as far as I'm concerned. We even saw that in the amateurs, you know. So, for example, the Joyce fight, which I felt he lost. You know, Joyce wasn't doing anything special. All he was doing was coming forward, letting his hands go. And I felt Tony Yoka really struggled with that. He didn't have any clue on how to keep Joyce at range. He really didn't. So I question how Tony Yoka deals with pressure fighters. I question how good his chin is. He also has other defensive flaws, so backing up in straight lines with his chin in the air, pumping the jab and then taking it back really low to his waist. You know, that jab can be countered, no doubt about it, especially as the fight wears on. And even his the things he does well, like, so for example, keeping it long and using his feet, you know, does he do it well enough to beat a guy like a Deontay Wilder or an Anthony Joshua? You know, guys like this? I don't think so. I know it's very early, and I know that's that's a long way off, but, you know, this is the standard he wants to get to, right? And I don't think he's anything close to that. Could he outbox Kubrat Pulev from distance? Because, like I said, you know, Yoka's a distance fighter. Could he do that to Pulev? I don't think so. You know, to me, his skill set, although he was a very good amateur, in the pros, you know, he's got a lot of developing to do. He's got athletic ability, like I said, quick hands, quick feet. His power, not convinced. He hits hard enough. But, you know, they need to capitalise on his speed. You know, his foot speed, his hand speed. And they need to make him elusive. I know he was with Virgil Hunter. I'm not sure whether that is the case anymore because Virgil Hunter has had health issues. But regardless, I don't think Virgil Hunter is the right man for Tony Yoka. You know, obviously he done some great things with Andre Ward, but apart from that, I don't think he's really improved any other fighters, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure whether Virgil Hunter is the right man for Tony Yoka. if Yoka wants to get a high-profile American trainer or an up-and-coming American trainer, to me the best shout right now, the guy I'm impressed with most, is Derek James. You know, I think he's a really, really good trainer. You know, he's done some great things with Errol Spence as well as Jamel Charlo. And I feel that, you know, he's really emerging to be one of the best trainers in America right now. I also think stylistically Ronnie Shields, that would be a good fit for Tony Yoka, but I'm just not convinced about Virgil Hunter being the man to take him forward. But regardless, time will tell. I will make a video on Tony Yoka in my heavyweight prospect series. I know I've let some of my thoughts go here, but I'll make a separate video on him later. But yeah, he got the job done. You know, he got some rounds under his belt against a tough guy, so it's going to do him some good. I would actually like to see Tony Yoka maybe take a couple of fights in America. You know, for a guy who's just turned pro, the level of competition has been pretty good. You know, I think this was his 5th fight. Dave Allen in your 5th fight is not bad. You know, if he wants another step up, maybe a Joey Dueco, maybe that's too soon. I don't know, but I would like to see him take a couple of fights in America. So yeah, you know, he got some rounds in. Good for him. I'm sure he'll develop some more. I'm not writing him off, but I think he's got a lot of flaws. That's all I'm saying. Now, as for Dave Allen, where do we start? Firstly, you've got to say, he turned up in bad shape. He was very heavy. He was carrying a lot of excess lard. And, you know, he wasn't in the condition to give Tony Yoka a really hard fight. He wasn't in the condition to let his hands go and really push the pace. And from an outsider looking in, it just looked like he turned up there for a payday, to be honest with you. He really got himself in good shape for the Lenroy Thomas rematch back in March. We're only in June now, and Dave Allen has put on a substantial amount of weight in that time period from March to June. So I'm not sure how much he's been training. I'm not sure how that's happened, but, you know, if he wants to continue boxing, he needs to take it seriously, because some of the conditions he showed up to in some of these big fights has been poor and appalling. Let's be honest about it. And listen, Dave Allen is a nice guy. He's good to listen to. He's funny. You know, he's articulate. He's got a lot of charisma. You know, he's a guy you root for. But I feel it's the time now where people who are close to him, you know, people who know him well, his family, might need to ask a question: do you want to do this anymore? Because if you're carrying on the way you carry on, you're going to get hurt. Turning up in that type of shape and taking those type of beatings, that could really come back and bite you on the arse in 20 years' time. You know, Dave Allen, you know, he's got a lot of love on social media, like I said. You know, people really encourage him. They want him to do well. You know, every single move he makes, you know, people are backing him. And that's all well and good, and people's hearts are in the right place. But even the people who really support him, you know, after a while, when they keep on seeing this, you know, when Dave Allen, you know, he fights a couple of journeymen, then gets a big fight out of nowhere, turns up in terrible shape and loses badly, you know, these people are going to get bored of it, and they're going to move on. And when they move on, he loses what value he does have. His paydays will decrease, and he'll be swallowed up by boxing, you know, by the industry. And at the end of Dave Allen's career, he might not have made the money he wanted to have made. You know, he might have left the game with regrets, and he might have left the game with serious health issues. And like I said, you know, the guys who support him now, yeah, and again, I'll say this, their hearts are in the right place, but, you know, these people are going to move on in the end. That's the reality. And these people are not going to be there if Dave Allen is in a bad way in 30 years' time. And that's the road Dave Allen's heading down, because he doesn't take his career seriously. He's taken needless beatings. He's taken fights, let's be honest, that he shouldn't have taken. I know he saw the money and he took it, and I'm sure a lot of us would do the same. But there comes a point where you've got to ask yourself a question: is it worth it? Am I getting enough out of this? And where's it heading? Because we all know about Dave Allen's issues outside the ring. And he's a lovely guy, like I said, but there might not be a happy ending to this story. And I hope I'm wrong. What I would like to see from Dave Allen is for him to take a break. A few months out of a ring, no sparring, just light training, keeping fit, losing weight, but no sparring, no boxing, apart from basic stuff like pads and bag work. No sparring, no fighting for a few months. Recover, lose some weight, get in shape, and then towards the end of the year, have a couple of knockover jobs. Guys who are there to lose. And after you've beaten those knockover jobs, from next year, start at area level. Start all the way back from scratch. Build a win streak. Build some confidence. Have learning fights, because Dave Allen never had any real learning fights. He kind of jumped in at the deep end, which is admirable, don't get me wrong. And he would have learnt a lot from those experiences. But I still feel he needs to start from scratch. Start from the bottom. Work your way through the ranks like, most British fighters. You start at area level. You go to English level. Then British level. That's what I would do if I was Dave Allen. I'd really take a different approach. Try and get in shape and stay in shape. Recover. And, make a real go of it. He said his ambition was to win a British title. Why not try and work towards that? Start from scratch and work your way up. Get a British title shot. And see what you can do.